Today, I am very excited because I have someone that I've been trying to have this conversation with for the last 4 or 5 months, but he's one of the busiest guys I know, and he is the COO of our firm, Baker Tilly. Chuck Droege, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Benny. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for you taking the time to do this because there's been a lot going on in your world and all our worlds, but especially yours. And one of the things I just want to make sure that I address, Chuck, is I start today. No, tomorrow is actually my 3-year anniversary. Yeah, 3 years at Baker Tilly. And when I first started, I didn't really know anything about the CPA firm world. I was always in sales and management and staffing my whole life. And you were one of the, if not the first person to really even introduce me to your clients and refer me to some of your contacts. And you helped me a lot because that then really changed my mindset of how I wanted to have the Chicago search and staffing team go forward and
hmm
have a more cohesive partnership with the rest of the partners. So I'm very grateful for you to, help me in that very beginning when you didn't even really know me. So.
Yeah, fantastic. And my main approach to life is find people who are talented and willing to work, and go from there. Everything else falls from there, right?
Yep, exactly. So let's get started. And at first, if you want to tell me a little bit about you and your story at Baker Tilly and your current role, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So I started with our firm in 1999, back in our Madison, Wisconsin office. I'm a Wisconsin boy. Grew up in Milwaukee and went to school in Wisconsin. And so I kind of forced my way into the firm, kind of like you. I took a little bit of a different path, right? And I worked for one of our clients on kind of a part-time basis and met the firm and kind of forced my way in. I started in our commercial practice, which is where we fit things that aren't in one of our industry verticals. So manufacturing, distribution, construction, real estate, nonprofit, higher ed, all those types of things. Everything that didn't fit into those categories is where I started. And so I had to be nimble and had to be, kind of willing to learn and teach myself all along the way. The firm asked me to move to Chicago in '08, actually in '07, when we had merged with the firm KGN here in town, and took that as a great opportunity to come to the big city where we didn't have as big a footprint as we did back in Wisconsin, and took on a team leadership role from there, and so worked here since '08, and then a couple of years ago was asked if I would take on the COO role, which in our world is really in charge of the enterprise technology or IT group and the finance group. That's where my primary aspects lie. And then my secondary aspect is running our business more effectively so that our client service people like you, don't have to worry about the running the business aspect so much. It's delivering client service that you're focused on.
Got it. And also, if you, from your right now with everything that's going on in BT, can you talk about overall size of BT?
Sure. So we're closing in. We're over 800 million already. Is where we're looking to be. And
Wow.
as you're well aware, we just closed a pretty big a merger as well. And so we're shooting towards that billion dollar mark, and we're about the 10th largest accounting firm in the country. We're projecting that's where we'll be. And then we have a full suite of services is where we're getting to right now. We're one of those few firms that's kind of in that middle where we have a full suite of services from large company to mid-market, but aren't primarily focused on, SEC and that type of work. We're still focused, very, very heavily on the middle market.
Got it. So with 2020 being what it is, I'll just leave it at that. How has COVID and everything else that's happened this year affected public accounting as a whole?
Sure. And I'll kind of look at, there's a lot of different lenses you can look at that, right? So COVID hit right in the middle of our traditional busy season, right? So everyone was out doing audits and tax returns, and it was, holy cow, what is going to happen? And no one knew, right? We didn't know. And so the firms took a lot of different approaches. Some immediately started laying people off and slowing things down. Others, kind of hit the pause button and tried to figure out what was going to happen. I think Baker Tilly followed that approach, if you will. A lot of it depended on what your clients were doing, right? If you had heavy concentration in retail or in nursing homes or highly affected or impacted industries, that was going to impact you a lot more. If you were working with tech companies or professional service companies or people who could work from home on a much more easy basis, you were less impacted. And then there was so then regulations and changes in from the government came down, moving the tax deadline back, influencing, or excuse me, putting a whole bunch of money into the system for COVID relief. That meant that we had to be very nimble in coming up with new consulting projects and helping our clients get through these, changing regulations and things like that. And so it was just a churn, and we're still figuring it out, to be honest.
Got it. And what's BT doing to adjust to all this?
Yeah, my immediate focus right away was, I'm a very, very data-driven person. And my immediate focus was hey, we need more real-time, forward-looking data right off the bat, And so the first box that we had to check is, can we all work from home? Because we, right in mid-March, as you're well aware, we told everyone offices closed, work from home. And luckily, our IT department had done all the work beforehand to make that possible, because we basically did okay, one day, all 3,500 people at the time work from home, and let's hope that it's all going to work from a security perspective, from an access perspective, from all that, right? And thankfully, our IT group had done a fantastic job of getting us ready for that, because it worked, right? We, day one happened and everything worked, and we've been kind of going since then. And so for me, okay, that was checkbox number one. Checkbox number two is, are we in a position where we are, we're liquid enough, where we're nimble enough that, as a business, we're sustainable, right? Okay, we got to that checkbox number two. Okay, checkbox number three is, what are we going to do for the next 3 months? How is this going to impact our clients? How can we help our clients get through this? And kind of that pivot. And we, as you're well aware, we didn't do any layoffs. We decided we still would go ahead with our bonuses and our raises, and because all of the data was telling us, what our
Thank
clients,
you for that, by the way.
Oh yeah. As our clients were doing relatively well. I mean, this is still in that time, right? And what we're trying to do is we're trying to predict, is there going to be a second wave? Is there going to be a third wave? How is it going to impact our clients? And just try to stay true to our people, which is how how we deliver our great client service, and it's really the core of who we are, right? And just look at the data as it's coming in. And I had to change some systems of ours to make sure that we got more real-time data. Had to change our focus from what happened to what's going to happen. And that's really been the primary focus of what I've been working on.
Yeah, I will say too, every time I talk to my friends who work I talk to a lot of people who work at other companies, obviously. So there's no SOP for how to deal with a global pandemic in a recession, during a racial revolution, and everything that's going on in the biggest political climate of our lifetimes, probably. But I would say, like, one of the things that I really appreciated about you, Alan Whitman, and the rest of the leadership team for Baker Tilly is the calls that we have, the recurring calls, because one, all of you guys are always there for it. Two, transparency is something that I absolutely respect and almost require, because I feel like I'm a very transparent person too. And you guys have been very, very, very good with that. There hasn't been any surprises for us. So it's been awesome to see how leadership has handled this while, the acquisition merger was going on. So, I mean, I think I speak for everybody at Baker Tilly when I say thank you for the leadership that you guys have been giving us during this crazy year.
I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, right? And if you pretend that you know everything, that's everyone knows that's not true. So you're just being inauthentic and unfair. I mean, say what we're going to do, say what we don't know, say how we'll address if it comes to A or B, and, stick to it. To me, that's the leadership philosophy.
Awesome. Thank you again, Chuck. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to finally at least seeing you in person when all this is over.
Likewise.